Welcome to the SpeakDads Hour. It's a time to have real conversation that matters with dads being honest and transparent. My name is Elliot. I'm the founder of SpeakDads.com, a safe place for men to have communication, hold accountability, and hold space for each other to be able to uplift each other as well. Joining me is Chris Willers.
What's going on, man? We got fancy tonight, man. I wanted you to start with the audio introduction over over the new Speak Dads template as we continue to build this thing out, man. How you doing, brother?
Doing very well, brother. How about you, man?
I'm doing well. You know my situation. I'm doing good, but we're gonna
Well,
get into
good.
my situation as a whole tonight, which
Okay.
I'm really glad to be up here on this platform for, man. In case you don't know, everyone, my name is Christopher Life Willers. And as always, as Elliot said, man, welcome to Speak Dads. Real conversation that matters. I gotta fix the spelling on that, by the way. But anyways, we're not gonna point that out too much, man. This is something that, honestly, I will say hands down, on a personal level, this platform has helped me, man. And we welcome each and every one of you that may want to be a part of our conversation, man, because our conversation, we
Absolutely.
believe, is the conversation of many. We represent fathers, we represent mentors, we represent the quote unquote stepdads, because I don't believe in, if you're a father, you're a father. The
Period.
uncles, the men,
Period.
like everybody, any aspect. And um, this conversation isn't just limited to the fellas. Our platform is for it's to a specific niche because we're working hard to support our
Mhm.
guys. But these conversations we welcome all because you may
Absolutely.
have a husband, a father, a brother, somebody that you're attached to, if you're not one of them already, that may need to hear about this, man. So thank y'all
Mhm.
in advance for hopping on. Elliot,
Man.
I'm in the midst of it. Anybody
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I've been posting recently. Right now, I'm in the hospital. Speak Dads is real. It's transparent. It's
Yes.
live time. Why dads go through stuff all the time. Dads got to
Mhm.
keep going. But
Mhm.
this right here, if anybody's wondering, my wife said you need to do this because I really appreciate you being on Speak Dad. So we're gonna have a real conversation tonight,
Totally. Thank you.
straight from, of course,
Sincerely
definitely
spoken.
will. Yeah, and we're in the trenches. We're in the trenches right now. Uh, we had a conversation before I even found out I was going to be a father. That's how me and you met. You want to
Mhm.
tell people how we met really quick, man?
Oh
How
yeah.
we got involved in this thing?
So I've been running Speak Dads, right? And I felt led to find somebody to be able to help with the sobriety component of Speak Dads because I want it to be a safe place. So no matter what guys come with, I have somebody that goes, "Hey, I got you. I'm pretty good at that." You know what I mean? Um, kind of like a superhero team of guys for different kind of crises, if that makes any sense. So while I'm trying to put them together, you know what I mean? And when I took the time and started looking, I went, okay, I'm trying to find somebody. And I went on a search for this for the better part of a year. And I couldn't, which is ironic, I couldn't find anybody that resonated well. So I was looking on social media and I happened to run into Chris. And I said, that's interesting. And I kind of like some of his content. And I watched some of it and I watched some more of it. And I went, okay, yeah, I like this. And what I saw him on was not TikTok, but Facebook. So what I
Mm,
met was somebody with a small following that I at least could approach and maybe would hear me and go, hey, listen, before you get so big you don't listen to anybody other than Nabisco, maybe you'll hear me. You know what I mean? When I say, hey, I'm trying to build this thing, right? And so trying to bring that effort together, I said, okay, let me start reaching out. I started reaching out to Chris because I said, okay, he's into sobriety, really relentless with the message and creative with what you were saying and very direct about it. So I thought there's a lot of guys that have that component of really wanting sobriety and really wanting somebody that's willing to come alongside them and not be ashamed to be able to say, hey, I've been there, done that. This is a place that won't judge you. It won't scare me. It won't throw the rhythm off. So
yeah.
I started talking to Chris about it. I was like, I got this crazy idea. I know you don't know me. Just let me share an idea with you. And I said the same thing to him that I've said to every person that's worked with Speak Dads. It's very simple. I would ask you to hear what I'm saying and pray on it before you reach back out to me. I'm not telling you the answers, yes, no, anything. I can't afford you. I'm just asking you to consider, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you'd like to get involved, I'd love to talk. But if not, I totally understand. God bless you. I love what you're doing anyway. And then I also made sure that I was wildly involved with almost every post that I saw, period. Now, mind you, I didn't know you I didn't know you did this on TikTok or any other platforms. I didn't really cross-reference anybody. You know what I mean? I literally was just looking at TikTok and I'm like, okay, he's got less than 50,000 followers at the time. I'm like, okay, so he might be willing to hear somebody. I know a lot of people know what I'm talking about. So, hey, just check me out. Look at my stuff. I'm not making this up. It's really what I'm doing. Probably.
Yeah.
But I'm trying though. You know what I mean? Like, please check my heart, bro. The message is consistent. There's no BS in anything. It's all the same stuff over and over again. And so I got in touch with you. You reached back out. We kind of talked and went from there. You were one of the few people genuinely that when I spoke to them was very earnest. Because if one more person tells me that I have to speak to their agent or their booking agent before I find out, like, hey, do you even think this is a good idea? Like, I don't mean it rude. I got 4 kids and 3 jobs, and I understand. I'm not trying to say anybody's not busy. I'm not saying
Yeah, for sure.
But fam, it takes you 90 seconds to read something, look at somebody's stuff, and make an assessment pretty fast. And that's slow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah,
I do that. If you can't, don't worry about it. It's not you. You know what I mean? And that's how prayer works.
It almost wasn't me though, because I do have an assistant and I don't have time to see everything, and I barely read because I can't. I try, but this was one of those messages that I did see because every day I do make it a habit to try to interact, comment, respond to some messages myself because I want to be.
The man's a machine. Listen, don't let him tell you something crazy. My man's like 5 to 10 posts organic every day off the rip, plus other stuff with scheduling. Yeah, I promise you. I promise. You'll have you crazy. I tried posting at the same time.
He made a post about me where you guys got to check out his page, man.
I've got one coming. I haven't dropped it yet, but I've got one coming. I've got a whole.
I got to see. Tag me. I want to post it on one of my pages.
Absolutely, you should. It'll resonate. Anybody who's worked with you, they'll know. And like, I talked to this other brother. No, listen, you'll love this. I was talking to a brother yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes, yeah, I did like 10 years. And I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, and I'm helping my nephew with a weight problem. And I said, really? He goes, yeah. I said, how's that progress? He's like, oh yeah, no, I'm focused, man. I'm making sure he's getting his progress. I was like, I'm sure you are, bro. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, nah, no. I work with a regimented brother as well. I know exactly what you're talking about. He was like, you realize? I was like, so you help him with his eating? And he's like, yeah, every day. I was like, I'm sure you do. I've got a mentor for social media posting and stuff that is very much of the same energy. Yeah, I get it. There's no reason to not do it. He was like, yeah. Right. I was like, you're details. So that regiment and that skill set is really usable when you apply it.
Yeah, no question. And here I am, side note, here's the shameless plug. I'm in a hospital room. I got to shout out my wife. We're gonna definitely get into why we're in here, but yeah, this is real life. We're living in a hospital right now.
Oh, my wife says hi, by the way.
I'll definitely tell her we said hello, and I'll definitely let April know as well. I got a book dropping tonight. And my book drops tonight. Well,
hey, guess what? That makes you a published author.
That makes me a 2-time published author. Let me give you guys a timeline of my 2025 really quick. To anybody, this is not a pat me on the back. Follow me for a second. January 23rd, about 8:13 a.m., my house went up in flames, full fire. Fell down, paralyzed myself, couldn't move my left arm. My brothers had to come and pull out what we could salvage out of the yard, out the house, onto the yard, into the storage. Boom. There's a video of me that day dancing in the front yard. There's a video that I made while my house was on fire, illustrating the point. People would think that I was crazy. I get it. Maybe I was. I don't know. But if anything, I was still driven, still focused, still committed to the mission. Mm-hmm. And wouldn't it be a beautiful thing if once you planned the picnic, you could predict the weather? Because I know regardless, I'm still going to eat. If I can't get out there in the sunshine, the picnic was supposed to still happen at 12 o'clock.
The sandwiches are still amazing, bro. That's all I know.
The sandwich, whether I got, right. So here we are, we fast forward
Yeah.
because this is for my fellas that are ever going through anything, anybody that's going through something. When you can find a way to get through those moments, push through, be disciplined, it prepares you for the next. And now, I was dealing with just a lot going on, right? First,
Mhm.
I'm communicating, I'm praying, I'm communicating with my wife, we're making sure everything's good, but I'm not stopping. And I got this book getting ready to drop. Some of my team was like, "Yo, is you psycho?" And then some of my team were like, "We know you are." But man, well, here's the thing.
Listen, real quick, shout out to my wife. But like,
Shout her
listen,
out.
like,
Shout her out.
okay, so here's the thing, right? So here's the thing. I get justifiable credit from people for standing up for men's mental health sometimes, right? And I say justifiable because
Mhm.
you get beat up a lot more than you collapse. You
Hard
know what I
time.
mean? But in order to create a safe space, there's somebody that has to step and come alongside me and take care of 4 kids so I can make a space to be present for you or for anyone. You know what I mean? And that
Facts.
sense of, hey, I'm going to be present with this. And I talked to her about it before I got into it. I was like,
Hmm.
hey, if I'm going to get into this, there's some things that come along with it. You know what I mean? There might be a little public scrutiny. There might be, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say anything
Hmm.
inflammatory, I don't think, but you stand up for people and men's mental health long enough, somebody might misunderstand what you're saying. And again, I'm not
You better
trying
bet it.
um, but to have somebody that's supportive of that, to be able to work with it, like, yeah, I'm a guy. I couldn't do this with my twins running around. They're beautiful, but they're not going to be.
Yeah.
That's not happening. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's not appropriate for my 2 oldest daughters to overhear a conversation and go through that. So, I do appreciate you for that part of it, honey. If you're watching,
Yeah. Shout out to the missus, man. Shout out
yeah.
to every wife. Let's just like, I heard a quote.
Hmm.
A lot of men are married,
Hmm.
but a lot of women don't have wives.
A lot of men don't have wives.
Don't have wives. They
Yeah,
don't have
I can agree with that.
a lot of people are in marriages, but they don't have spouses.
Man, let me tell you something.
I put it like that but what do you get
Yeah,
when I say that? Because you took the
like,
deep breath, you.
yeah, like there's people like. Here's the thing. I don't have a perfect marriage, right? I'm not gonna pretend like I do. I'm a work in
Right,
progress. I got a lot to learn.
right.
But like, why would you marry somebody to hate them for better or for worse? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, you have to figure it out, and I don't mean figure it out like if you stop trying to assign blame and just figure out that y'all both win or lose. I've
It
seen
becomes
people,
clear.
yeah, man. Like I see people make an effort at the wrong time, and here's what I mean. Like they realize everything's messed up, and now it's time to make effort to be consistent. You know what I mean? And like the biggest thing I can tell you that what I hear from guys, and I've been long before there was ever Speak Dads, I have been there to mentor and be supportive of guys through all types of crises. I've been doing this a very, very long time, and I mean that genuinely.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I'm not saying some amazing. I was also there's times I've been totally the villain in the story, but
Of
there's many
course.
times when I've really been, you know what I mean, genuinely there for people. You women don't understand that like men don't really get it, and sometimes if women and men aren't speaking the same language, it's hard to learn.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like they're
Hands
not
down.
worth it. I mean like there's nobody really teaching you how to speak it that isn't also counting your paycheck. So it's hard to want to listen to everything that just they say if you don't agree with it. That's
Yeah.
why I think community is really important. Yeah, like marriages that like if you're in church, you okay, cool, family that prays together, stays together, all that stuff, worships together, whatever. So you have a common ideology. And whatever your version of worship is or whatever it is, do stuff together. You know what I mean?
Question.
Yeah,
Question. Series of questions.
sure.
But and he said I could speak about this. I had a young man, 18 years old, call me. I'm mentoring him. And he says, "Oh, gee, I'm getting ready to get married." 18. My brain, he's in the military though. I don't want, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? He's got,
Yeah, God bless
you
him.
know,
There's
he's
nothing
got
wrong
a
with making that
plan.
decision.
It's not like he's sitting there on the street, none of that. But he asked me straight up, he was like, "You think I'm making the right decision?" Of course, I would never in a million years ever tell
Right.
a man in that if you're making the right decision.
Right.
Um, but I gave him some advice. But I want you to give that young man some advice that's thinking about getting married at a younger age. Because my one of my outlooks, I gave him just this little, I'll give you one little piece I gave him and then I'm gonna get back out. I told him I didn't even know who I was at 18. And that's not to
That part.
discourage you. It's not to discourage you. I don't think that
That part.
not an amazing person. I don't think that you guys aren't in love. But what are your thoughts, bro?
Man, okay, so let me start by saying this is not intended to hurt anyone's feelings. Because like here's the thing. Would you give an 18-year-old a Ferrari?
So young, man. But he's like,
Like
I'm signed
I'm
up
not.
for the military, or I'm in the military. I can
I get it.
go to
Absolutely.
war
Would
for
you
my
give him a
country,
Ferrari?
but
Right. Would you give him a Rolls Royce? That's more reason you got to live a little
I
bit.
get it.
Because you're gonna grow up real fast over there.
Yeah.
You're gonna find out a lot quick. It's the theater of war has changed since the Desert Storm. There's no more 3 hots in a cot like it used to be, and get break and then go back in the same way. That system is not the same way. I digress. I think that should you be able to make the decision? Yes. Part of adulthood is knowing that you can, but you still sit down.
Say that one more time again. Hold on. Part of adulthood
is knowing that you can, but you still sit down. It's not about like see at 18, no disrespect. Most of math is, oh, I can do whatever I want. Can't anybody tell me anything? That's right. Welcome to singular responsibility for your actions. You're right. And I say this as the father of a young man that I hope will make amazing decisions. I got a baby girl, 14 years old. Listen, 18, fam, miss me with that. Look, I'm gonna need you to sit down for a little bit. And here's the real, 100% real. I'm not saying don't be with her. I'm not saying we won't take care of her. I'm not saying the family won't hold her down while you're gone. I'm not saying she's not everywhere for everything. I'm not saying any of that.
Right.
I'm saying find you enough to make a man's decision before you decide to lead a woman.
It's levels.
You know what I mean?
Levels.
Like you ain't even, I'm not disrespecting anybody's ideology but hey, listen, there's a big difference in why they don't let you rent a car at 18 years old.
Yeah, it's the level of responsibility. And most,
if she's amazing like this, let me tell you something. If she's amazing like this, which she is, then you need to learn to appreciate that amazing by learning to find a little in yourself without it being defined by her.
That's hard for a lot of people, though.
Man, it's hard for a lot of dudes.
People.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Their identity is their relationship.
Yes.
Or their marriage. That can be a part of it, but that can't be all of it. I'm an independent individual. I came into this thing as a separate entity. We're coming together, but I still have my own stuff.
And that here's the thing, and I'm not even saying like to not share and not build and not, I'm not saying any of that, but you got to be aware of who you are going into something, because no matter how good the deal is that you think you're getting, you're going to feel like you could have gotten a better deal at some point. That's humanity. That's her picking you, that's you picking her, that's life in general. This is people and how they work. And maybe the better deal could have been you would have been a better man for her. Or maybe you wish that she had a better life and you had more time for her. But there's always a part where you wish it were different somehow. I wish I'd met my wife sooner. I don't wish it was anybody else. But if I met her sooner, then there's no ideology the same way, right? So then I don't wish that the same way. So there's things that are pluses and minuses. But people, when they settle into themselves, as they grow, they settle different and they move different, and what they like and what they don't like is different.
Your palate changes.
Yeah. And I'm not saying she's not everything. I'm sure she is. And I'm not saying you're not everything. I'm sure you are. And side note, that first and foremost, thank you for choosing to serve our country. And I appreciate you going to fight for freedom, however you do it. Does that make sense? And I mean that. But that notwithstanding, hey man, why don't you go see a little bit of the world? She's everything. Why don't you do this? Y'all gonna be married, right? Cool. So run up about 30 to 50 grand in savings and get married.
Because
Go into your marriage with no real debt. Hold you down. Hold her down. Let's get everybody ready.
you
That
will
way you
acquire debt. You will
right, that way
acquire
you got
bills.
everything you need it. That way you've got everything. And if you really and peep game, y'all can both buy properties. Both use your first time home buyer's loan and then get together on whatever you want to do outside of that and build generational wealth. And if this is your life partner for the next 50, 70, 100 years, I strongly suggest you have a whole life plan. Since you're making whole life decisions, you obviously have your whole life mapped out, right?
You need
Because
to get
since you're
whole life
playing at this table,
insurance.
you've got all these things ready, right? Because that's what you're doing since you can. And we're exercising not just the I'm able to, we're going to exercise the full gauntlet of manhood. I'm with you, young brother. I see you. So make sure, let's have a conversation about your IRA. Make sure we got everything where we need to be. No, I'm with you. And I mean that no joke. I'm saying
Right.
let's make sure you got everything where you need it so you can come together and be where you need to be. Because before I stepped to my wife, I promise you I had a 5-year plan.
Yeah, I had to have one. I had some
Par for
boxes
the
I
course,
had to
sir.
check over here. Yeah.
Yeah. Par for the course, sir.
And,
Par for the
and I
course, sir.
needed to I needed to know that I could have my own foundation. I'm never planning, especially not this is totally unrelated to this season and my marriage, but in previous, I was never planning for the end. But just in case, I want to make sure my foundation is always because I'm young, right? And here's the thing, this is what I wanted to tell you, and you respond to this. He said, "Oh, gee, but we believe in unconditional love. So even if we do something or we mess up, we know we're young. We're prepared to move past that." Listen, you may respond differently, Elliot, but I'll tell you what. I got boundaries. I got deal breakers. I got none of that. What I got to worry about now. But I'm just saying, when I was looking for a wife, when I was trying to take something serious, like I had some. I'm not going for anything, and I'm not. For me, I'm not a big believer of unconditional love, but outside of God, unconditional love. But I'm saying, I think I would be lying if I said I could love somebody through like somebody doing the worst of the worst to me. But he's saying it doesn't matter. They're young, they're willing to grow through it all together. Beautiful thought. I don't know. What are your thoughts, man?
Let me put a pen to something. Okay. Let me just no, because I like to give like context because that way it's better. It makes better sense because I don't like to be
It
disrespectful.
does.
I like to be
Right.
genuine. You know what I mean? And so I want to say it reasonable. Okay. So we're
Right.
gonna do
We're gonna write it down. We want to
yeah.
be we're straightforward on this platform. We're all about
Okay.
respect.
366, which is 365 and 1/4 days, and I'm giving you the extra day for it. You've walked the planet for 6,588 days. Let's get crazy and say we're just going to add another. Let's say it's almost your 19th birthday. We're going to add another 366 days. Stay with the math. 6,954. We're going to round up, say 7,000. I don't walk this planet just to kind of give a reference. And we're just going to go 365. I don't walk this planet 16,000 days. So when I say that you're going to learn something, 10,000 hours, right? 10,000 hours was one of the, I can't remember who said it, but somebody said 10,000 hours is what it takes to become a professional at something, right? To really perfect and hone in your craft. And I can tell you that it's not, you haven't spent enough time in manhood. That involves the full gauntlet of a lack of protection, no matter what your social or economic scenario is. I'm not saying you haven't raised your family by yourself since you were 10 years old and held them down. I'm not taking away from anybody. You also will be treated differently once you're 18 and above. And the world is different. Your audio's gone.
My fault. I'm over here because I wanted.
Yeah.
There's less protection. There's less shielding.
There's less understanding. There's like at 18. I'm not saying you can't make life decisions. You can. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't take some time before you make forever decisions. And marriage is a forever decision. I'm not saying there's not all the financial benefits and all this to your girl and all of the. I'm not saying that. Okay. And I say this as somebody that's married to somebody. I'm a second husband. I know that 67% of marriages end in divorce no matter what. And I
What
get
is it? 60 some still?
it. 67%. Yeah. I mean, as the economy gets worse, that'll
67%.
kind of vastly get higher or lower. It'll be interesting to see.
Right.
But well, higher or lower. But what's funny is it's not that you can't do it, right? It's that if you wait, then you'll make a better decision. And older you will thank younger you that you did that.
Man.
35, 40-year-old.
Part.
But here's the thing. Like y'all, here's it. Okay, you're unconditional. Cool. Wait 1,000 days. Mark them off on your unconditional love. Save $250 a week because you're unconditional love. 12 grand a year, $36,000 by the end of it. Put a down payment on a house, buy a very nice wedding, do the whole kit everywhere you need to be, and then walk right off into the sunset, better off than many people ever be. You know what I mean? Just do it that way. There's many ways to handle it and to do it. That would be, and I'm not saying it like that she's not worth it. I'm saying because she is. And then take your happy self to pastoral counseling. You know what I'm saying? Really sit down and figure out like what you guys want. Really spend the time with a third party. Maybe you're not in the church. Maybe you just spend the time with a relationship counselor. Maybe you spend a few months and you sit down with them and you really do the work and you learn each other's communication styles and you learn what's safe. Like, okay, if my wife, you and your wife, you have a safe thing, right? If you're beefing, there's something you do that says, I love you.
Yeah.
In my house, it's clean.
Yeah. Acts of service.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If my wife knows, at the very least, if I wash some dishes or I'm doing something, I'll come clean something up. And with 4 kids, there's always something that needs attended to. You know what I mean?
Right.
That effort is how I say, hey, I'm making that effort. Or a kiss goodbye. Or the next time one of us is eating. Or, you know what I mean? You have those. But some of those places that we have were identified by sitting down with a premarital counselor and having a conversation that was honest and transparent about differences in communication and why this and why that. And
yeah.
The hardest thing to face isn't the future, it's yourself.
Yeah, no question.
So if you can't wait, then ask yourself why.
Yeah, and here's they say most men, there's no specific stat or piece of data. There's no measuring stick that's equal for all men. But they say typically for us, we don't really know who we are, nor come into the type of maturity that we need for marriage until about 35. That's just that. This is through medical science. This is through psychologists. This is through mental health studies. It's not through the maturity level in relationship. Maybe not experience. You may be qualified to go out there and run for. You could do whatever, but when it comes to the level of commitment, for most of us,
that's what I'm saying. You're signing you up for that. Like, hey, somebody said, hey, you want, and then right after college, right after you get out of the military, you want to plan on coming home and signing up for 14 years of school, and another 6 years after that, and then another 25-year class. Like, no, okay, nope. I'm gonna share something with you. Parenting and marriage are 2 institutions you can fail out of, but you can never graduate from, and they are lifelong learning lessons. I don't know a single person happy married that doesn't work on learning their spouse and learns more about them, man. You know what I mean? Like, I know my wife way better now than I did when we first got married. There's a ton of arguments and misunderstandings, and you know what I mean, that I could save now that I couldn't save then, and I'm glad we made it through. But you got to love somebody through the, hey, I'm imperfect and I don't get it part. That's the joy of it. And y'all ain't had time to have, no.
I threw out when he said the unconditional part, I threw out multiple scenarios, not because I was trying to throw him off, not because I was trying to discourage. I encourage love, relationship, family, all these things. But I wanted to have a real conversation with him. And there were a couple scenarios that I threw out there he wasn't prepared for. But I said, hey, we don't want, but when you're saying you're good with whatever in your relationship, you love that person. Amen. That's what's up. But just know, if you are built like that, there's going to be some weight there, man. That's not forgiveness is hard. That's something you've got to practice. It's not compatibility. It's finding a way to comfort each other in those tough moments. Somebody's always going to be. Very seldom are you both hitting on all cylinders. There's so
There's no
many different.
way. There's no way, man. I've never seen anybody hitting on all cylinders all the time, bro. Like not Michael Jordan, not you know what I mean? Like give it a rest. It's just not a thing. And you're so right with that. And that what you're talking about, okay. I think something on your body should not work well before you decide to get married. I think you should. I think you should have. I'm serious.
I
I think you should have
mean,
some arthritis, maybe some stretch marks. You need to have gone
start
through
going
some real dark
bald.
periods. I'm gonna need you to go through something. I'm gonna need to know you done been through
Wisdom before
struggle.
marriage.
Before we sign up for forever, I'm gonna need to know you done got drugged a few times, just to know that you don't feel like when it happens, it's my fault. I need you to
Right.
know this is
But
life happening to you.
and I want to take the time to say to any young people that are married, no, there are successful marriages that young people. My goddaughter and her husband got 1,000 kids. They've been married since they were like 18.
And
I
that's
think they got
and
like I lost track. They got 7. They're like old
that's
school,
what I'm saying.
right?
But
They're not.
they're one in a
There's an
million.
exception. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not. And if you ask them, they'll be like, "Yeah, cool." But if you pull people aside and you put them in a room, like, all right, weird thing about SpeakDads, right? Because I talk to dudes without faces a lot. They'll
Right.
tell you there's not a single one of them that's been like, well, yeah, no, I mean, she's amazing. I love my wife. I don't want anybody else. But are there times when, like, I think, did I make the right decision because I should have waited and gotten my stuff in order before I married her? Or maybe I should have gotten that promotion first and then I wouldn't have had to ask her to move. Or maybe I should, you know what I mean? It's not even saying not her. It's saying, could I have done the being with her better? You know what I'm saying? And if you really, here's how it works. I believe if you really love her, then you do wonder that. And if you
Heck yeah.
and if you aren't really happy with her, then you wonder why you did it. But either way, you're gonna wonder. There's always the could I have done this better somehow so that I could have had more of this, especially when the relationship is good, especially when it's awesome. But here's the thing. I wouldn't have appreciated the wife I have now if it hadn't been for some of the stupid I tried before. And I'm not saying anybody else was stupid. I'm saying dumb stuff I thought was reasonable in a relationship. I'm picking on any female. I'm talking about my own version of stupid. Some of that
Here's
willingness, you know?
here's me in my marriage. This is me in the most transparent way that I can break it down. I always love my wife. Like I can
Yes.
remember, like the first conversation I had with my wife, she asked if she could pray for me. Blew my mind because I'm a believer, whatever. Nobody asked to pray for me since my mother and my aunt, whatever,
Right.
grandma. Now you're my wife. You asked to pray, you're my wife. You don't know it, but you're my wife now. But I was old school though. But I was also older. I was 36 years old when I met her. So I had purpose and intention, right? But if I want to be all the way true and transparent, early on in my marriage, I loved her, but in terms of appreciation, I only appreciated what she was doing in the marriage, what she brought to the table. I didn't learn how to appreciate her, her as an individual, her when she wakes up and she's not in a good mood, her when I was excited about going to this movie all day and she said yeah, and then at the last second she said I don't feel like it. And I'm like, oh, right.
I want to say
I
how
had right. I had to learn how to appreciate her for just the ability to sit with this woman and understand that she is really like my wife. She's really with me, just to be able to have that type of presence, right? But again, for me, it was maturity. There's no way me, I gotta keep saying me, y'all, to my younger people, but there's
100%.
no way I was getting married at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I was not built like that. I could have had the best intention in the world
Yeah.
to be whatever. And I just know. And when we're having this conversation right now, because I wanted to ask Elliot about it, some younger people have been asking some great questions. And thank y'all for that. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the fact that we are seeing the numbers and statistics on families in a
Staying
household
together
go
and dudes talking about it and talking about work-life
right.
balance. Okay, let me say something that I got wrong. If you ever
Mm-hmm.
see this,
Mm-hmm.
Cody, you were right about a work-life balance. Now, my job as your supervisor was to make sure that you were there all the time. But do I understand what you were saying about a work-life balance? Absolutely. So if you ever see it, I hope you're doing amazing in your water ice truck. And I mean that sincerely, like no joke.
Yeah.
Like he was like, listen, I work for this, but I don't want to do this forever. So your goals and my goals are different. And I'm going to
Right.
go, okay, well, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
when he said, I want out of the rat race, to me, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But all I could see was like the goals. And my wife really helped me with that.
Man.
Her math was very different. I worked really hard to change my stars.
Yeah.
And when you do that, that comes with big promises. And I
Yeah.
did the job to make the money to keep those promises and make it good. And
Right.
then when we twins, I went, I really, really am not happy with the trade that's happening. And my wife wasn't either. She wanted somebody to be present and wanted
Yeah.
somebody to be there. And that mattered to her more than other things. And I went,
Right.
well, there's going to be some adjustment. She said, okay, but you'd be home. And I went,
Right. That
all
part.
right. So, you know what I mean? So that's where a lot of that was born. But a lot of that, like you're saying, comes from communication and what I thought she wanted versus actually appreciating what she wanted. You know what I mean? And finding out like this isn't like what I want is my wife to have this, this, and this, and drive this car, and I wear this to work every day, and this tie, and you know what I mean? All that and cufflet, all that, but not the same when your partner doesn't feel like you're not home for dinner, and that's not the win.
Right.
And so, if it's an option and you can, and not everybody can, and not at all times, we were at a pivotal moment that it happened to be all right with everything coming together. That
Mm-hmm.
to be able to do that and be around somebody, but to communicate that and to stay in communication with that, because some of the roles are going to change.
Oh
It's
my
different.
God.
When listen, you're going to have to in today's society, whether you like it or not, most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
one of you is going to work and make more money than the other by
No
enough
question.
of that one of you is going to be the earner and the other one's going to turn into a higher percentage of support staff than you. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
that you don't have support staff functions to do. It just means
No.
a
Yeah.
portion of theirs is going to be helping out with stuff for you. That doesn't mean you don't, but finding that out, because I come from being in a relationship, being a bachelor, like I didn't have to worry about cleaning my house. I got somebody to come do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's not a direct conversion. And guys think we get a wife and you're like, all right, cool. So since I'm paying your bills, you're going to do all the things that these people do for me. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, bro.
that's not it either. Now, women also think that since I have a man, now these bills don't have to get paid or I don't have to do these things.
That part
That's not
too.
true either. So some of that, and shout out to the younger generation with bringing that
Yeah.
conversation to the front, is that I think is reasonable. The difference that I think is that I hope that our young people learn the difference in the amount of discomfort required to be successful. I've been
Man,
48 with my wife since yo. Shout out to
shout
you,
out to
bro.
you.
I see you,
Shout out to you,
Chris.
Chris.
That's amazing, man. That's
Yeah.
amazing. See that's
It's
what I'm saying. Since
since
2000, got married
2000,
in
man.
2012.
25 years. He was 48, so it's 23 to 20. That's what's up, man. And you know they're
Yeah.
gonna be locked in. They together.
And that's
I
what I'm
want to
saying.
I want to speak to what you just said because the evolution, what you just spoke about, the I don't want to use the word power dynamic, whatever. Somebody's gonna be making a little bit more money.
Whatever.
If you're married, that should be the goal. Unless both of y'all are millionaires. Somebody should be,
Fam,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? So
And that
I got to break this down real quick. I came home in 2020 from prison. My wife had been out here. She was a professional. She was an educator. She's a cosmetology instructor. She's teaching at Empire. I come home. I get on the garbage truck. The pandemic hits. Everything shuts down except the garbage man. At first, my wife was making more than me. She was going crazy. Shout out to my wife who bought a home for us before I came
Nice.
home. Also told me the mortgage was mine when I came home, but it
Oh,
takes
yeah.
a lot to buy a house, right?
Mhm.
But I came in She was making more money. Pandemic hit. I'm a garbage man. Garbage man's getting paid. Shout out to all of our waste management workers, man. I still see y'all, man. I'm still proud of that job. That's probably the job I'm most proud of to this day, which is crazy to some people, but y'all got to really understand it, what it took. And from there, she got laid off because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So then we took about $500, and me and my homeboy from Dayton, Ohio, shout out to Ace, we had the grill set up. We in Atlanta, we on MLK, we selling Chicago style hot dogs, we made us a little money. I put a salon suite in our house because she does hair. She can't teach right now. Schools are closed, but people still want their hair done.
Hey.
This is teamwork. So now she can do hair. She can do hair. I'm still on the garbage truck. Now we done saved our money because it's pandemic, right? And to everybody, no, we ain't do that PPP stuff. All y'all, I'm about to do a whole post about that on my other stuff. Anyways,
yeah,
we saved our money during the pandemic. All we had together, and we refinanced our home. We had about $30,000. But she had a dream. She had a dream of opening a school. I said I was going to help her make that dream come true before I came home. So now we come to this moment. We have the opportunity. We pull the trigger. We jump out there. $30,000 was not enough, first and foremost. Before we even opened the doors, we was broke. Our partners left us. But we survived this thing for 3 years. Not one student did not complete. 100% graduation rate.
That's awesome.
Whatever. Amen, right?
Amen.
But here's the thing. Towards the end of this, during the school, to support the school, my wife's dream, which if it's her dream, it's my dream as far as I'm concerned.
Of course.
I'm still on the garbage truck. I'm door dashing. I go pick up hours in the warehouse to make this still go. But I'm still working my dream. The social media. And what's my wife doing? When I'm coming off the garbage truck, she's kissing me and hugging me like I just came out the palace somewhere. When I'm posting, I'm holding up my phone. I say, babe, I made $10 this month. I used to tell my wife I made $10 on TikTok. And so proud of me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I made $10 this. We're on. So anyways, so we're active over there. So shout out to everybody that's locked in with us right now.
Absolutely. Appreciate you.
So Detroit, my wife is from 7 Mile, Chris, man. Shout out to Detroit, man.
What's up? There you go.
Yep. So then she's supporting my dream. She, oh, babe, that's amazing. And meant it. She did not laugh at my $10 I made on. So she meant and even in the moments where I thought I was am I a little kid playing on the phone with her? She said, keep going. Now, fast forward to 2025, school chapter's over with, but my dream pushed through into the new chapter.
Right.
So now we got social media, we got nonprofit, we got these different things. My wife doesn't have to work.
Right.
But she's still working for me. She's still
of course.
Anybody that's got a wife, she's signing paperwork, she's sending emails. But here's the most important part. This was our dream where we're at right now. I showed it when we started. Guys, this is real.
Yeah, you're in there.
Right? We fought to be right. And part of the dream was in my head, and she supported, because at the end of December 24th, she said, I don't want to do the school thing anymore. I want to try to have a family. And I can't do it with the school. And I said, I don't want you to work at all. I'm going to keep doing this. And we worked together. And now we're in a situation where she's going to be able to focus on our son. She's going to be able to focus on our home. But that's still a lot of work, man. Because I get to get up here, have the conversation, shoot the content, do it, but all the glue. So what I wanted to say right now is, in the midst of that, I'm realizing how much she was doing.
Yeah.
Even more. I already appreciated my wife. I was already, now even more so. But man, shout out to all the married couples or couples that are working together, because what I'm trying to get to, and what Elliot was leading into, if you're married and you're not working together to actually accomplish things in this life, to better, to better your condition, because there are some married individuals that are jealous of each other. They only want their spouse to get to a certain level.
Right.
They don't. yo, shout out to my wife. Now I'm not flying for a couple months, but yo, let's be clear. Like the last 2 years or whatever, relentlessly, 10 days out the
Mhm.
month, gone. Not beating my phone up, trusting me to do the work, knows that I am. But it
Right.
takes a certain type of woman to support the work. It's got to be a mental thing, especially if your wife is a grinder. And if you're an entrepreneur or if you're a leader, 9 times out of 10, guess what your wife is? Even if she chooses to reflect it in a different emotion.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and I also want to shout out, yo, like we said with the power dynamics, there's plenty of situations where the wife might be making more and dad
Hey,
is going crazy in the household. Dad
and
is
there's some
everywhere.
dads I know that do some really, really, really good stuff, and they're really on top of it. They're there at their families, the present. They're doing it. There's this. Here's the thing. It's worth it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, absolutely. We're glad you ran across this too, Chris. I'm glad to have you here, bro. 100%. Absolutely. Um, a lot of it is like. Here's the thing. When I met my wife, um, I had a plan, but I had a few options about what I was, and she was really supportive. And they moved out here, and everything is really cool. And the wild thing happened. I got promoted, which was great. And then
Mm,
COVID, um, which is real cool, except for like the first 2 months or 3 months when everybody was afraid to step out of the house. In fact, for the first like 3 months of COVID, there wasn't a lot that everybody was making in terms of income, inventory, any of that. So I got in COVID just in time to starve. And because I was part of management, I wasn't part of the group that received stimulus checks. So that was a lot of fun. Um, and
right.
oh, yeah. And it just, brought up a woman and two children to come up here. And oh, yes, sir.
The midst of the fire.
Bro, and she left a very good job, was the director of a clinic that did very well, that she'd been at for like 10 plus years with a team she built, the whole kit. So shout out to her with all those things.
Shout out to her
So
for sure.
yeah, so it was like you're saying, when you have a goal, it's huge that your partner supports you. But let me share something with guys, right? Even if your partner doesn't support you, I want you to try something out, right? Because being pissed off at her isn't going to help. Here's what might help though,
That's true.
right? If instead of justifying overpowering somebody else, you just accept that you could have done something different, you'll get better farther.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean this. My wife is amazing, and I love my wife, and I take nothing from her, and her encouragement is second to none. That notwithstanding, I'm gonna be on Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursday. You know what I mean? There's certain things that you have to do. A lot
Right.
of what guys miss in, especially in my younger generation, in leadership is loyalty doesn't mean blindly following you. It means
Absolutely.
I'm on your team. It doesn't mean I'm blindly following.
Yeah.
And a good teammate will tell you, like, you're the number one player, but we're not going over there to jump into that fight. Like, that's not going to happen. We're not doing that.
Right.
I'm not doing that. You're not doing that. Like, well, you can't tell me what to do. Yeah, but hear me. Let's not make it about that. And
Right.
sometimes seeing the whole landscape requires more than one set of eyes. You know what I mean?
I feel like always, man. I don't know if I ever really. I don't
Second
know. I'm one of
opinion
them
is
guys.
really helpful.
Yeah. Marriage
It,
makes marriage made me better. Marriage made me
yeah.
see the board better. Some people will say marriage, but I feel like that was I knew marriage. I know fatherhood. I'm getting ready. I
Well,
know that's gonna make certain things,
here's the
right?
thing. Yeah, like here's the thing. Like I didn't. How do I say this? I was ready to get married when I got married.
Right.
Wife, there you go. Like when I picked her, I knew what I was picking. I knew what I was doing. Best you can with a partner, I believe. And I was very happy with the choice I made. So for me, instead of focusing on not missing her, like, and I mean, God forbid you meet her and then you miss, you know what I mean? What if you met this amazing woman and you didn't? Okay. So once I had that, my goals became different almost instantly. Now it's no
Yeah.
longer about what kind of woman can I find and where do I find a good woman and did it all the other stuff. It's got a house, got a family, put down roots. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I got married, built a home, bought all within the same year, and had twins.
Yeah.
You know what I
Wait.
mean? Like I went in pretty strong.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I can tell you that pressure cooker requires it not being somebody else's fault. You have to own it. So it's important that your wife encourages you, and it is a really big part of success.
Yeah.
But the reason you're not successful is not because of your wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you don't have to spite somebody. Sometimes somebody believes that their presence is enough, that that's all they can muster. And that's what it is sometimes. You know what I mean? That doesn't have to be anything ugly or anything wrong. When you say, hey, I'm gonna try something else different, it's like, hey, look, like I'm like, hey, listen, I told my wife, I was like, I'm thinking about changing the SpeakDads logo. She's like, okay, but if you're gonna change it, then leave it that way for the next 2 years. Whatever you're gonna change it to, if you change it. And I went,
Right.
all right, that's a fair thought. You know what I mean? And not for anything but somebody telling me something to look out for. If I'm not willing to hear my partner with the assertion that she is trying to be helpful, regardless of how she communicates it, because some of that's based on how I listen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Plus, real quick, to those of you that are married, like a real powerful tool in relationships, you know that stuff that like your girl keeps bringing up over and over again, it really might be something that matters to her, right? So check the crazy idea. So if in your own way, you started working on it, and then in a month or a week or whatever it is, you came to her, let's say 2 weeks. Let's say a week or two, right? And you go, I'm really going to work on this. You say, give me a little time. And you work on it for 2-3 weeks. And you can show her concrete examples of not where you're better, because that's ridiculous, but instead where you're making an effort and you're aware.
That's real though.
You know what I mean? Like you can't tell
They
somebody,
appreciate.
I'm making an effort. I'm working on it. I know that I get this wrong, because that way, when I get something wrong, because I'm not going to get it perfect, right? Because it's like, you know, customer expectations versus customer budget. It's essentially what we think of with people, like what we say to somebody versus what we want them to do when they love us. You know what I mean? And so that math of saying, hey, I didn't say I'm gonna get this right, but I'm working hard to not get it wrong. So I'm not saying that I'm on the good foot, but I know I shouldn't be on the bad, and I'm being present for you and for us in this way. That's a different kind of selfless. Here's a fun fact, guys. A lot of the places where you don't feel like you want to speak like that because you'd be super vulnerable no matter what you want to say, it's also a place where they have to meet you in that vulnerability.
You gotta feel safe.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear. Like a lot of, I gotta
Yeah.
speak to this. I gotta speak to this really quick, man. I'm gonna try. These are my views and not SpeakDads or Elliot's. This is the time where I have to say this. I gotta protect my friend and
First
the
of all,
brand that I
y'all
believe in. First of all, but listen, man. I want to be clear. I want to be clear and I want to be objective.
Mhm.
I would say that for me, 70% of the people that I'm fortunate enough, 70% of the men, more than half for sure, if not 70, that I'm able to mentor, able to jump on support calls. And keep in mind, I get mentors and support. This one of my support calls, I call him crying, get what's going on, and just real talk. I don't care. I tell y'all, I cried 17 times today. It's real
Me
life.
too.
I'm in a. If you ain't moved with emotion, I gotta keep flashing that.
Yeah.
But I want to be clear, man. There is a percentage of women that are not allowing men to feel safe when they need to. One of the big complaints, oftentimes, and I'm not saying anybody's at fault, I'm just talking about the action, because there's a root behind everything. But one of the biggest issues is there are men that want to open up. There are men that want to explain what they feel. There are men that want to tell you that they hurt. There are men that want to cry in front of you. But they know that the minute they do, they may be looked at as being weak, whether you say it out loud or not. whether it's a look out the side of your eye, whether it's a response, whether it's a sigh. It is not an opening or safe space for a man. To the women that believe that that's an excuse for a man not to open up because we're supposed to be these go hard individuals, I will tell you
Yeah.
what you already know. It's your responses and how you don't receive us that cripples us the most. Because
Without question.
because, and again, I want to be clear, not saying what is the reason, I'm just talking about the action. But when that man comes and he tries and the response is anything other than open, he becomes quieter. And next time when he has something on his mind that he may want to, and it's the same thing, there's no reception, there's no one, he becomes even more quieter. And then what you get is you either get separation, unfortunately,
Yep.
even if he's still there, because how many times have we seen the older gentleman that sits in the garage all day, been married for 50 years, but sits in the garage all
Right.
day?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason he's sitting in that garage. He loves his
Yeah.
solace and peace. But let me tell you something. I love that my wife. She gets on my nerves. I get on her, but I can't stand to be away from her for more than I got to be in the same room.
Yeah.
That's just me. I'm one of them guys.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give that
I
word,
married you
man.
to be near you.
Right.
Get over it. We're going to be near each other.
Right. But create safe spaces. It's not all your responsibility. And to the fellas, create safe spaces. Don't always try to solve your ladies' problems, all that.
So
You can just listen. Yeah.
And I agree with you. Here's the thing. I agree that you should have a safe space. If you can't find one, SpeakDads.
That's it.
If your safe space for that communication isn't with your wife, then come communicate it with us. Because there's a lot of times when there's damage done, you might necessarily not be able to have that conversation. And that damage might be yours or hers or whoever's. And I'm not assigning blame or convicting anybody. But what I'm saying is this is when you start using words always, never, ever, constantly, never ending, those things all the time, that's what they call temperamental language. And here's what that means. Temperamental language is what happens when people are feeling black and white. Black and white is a very, very good thing because there's things that are wrong and there's things that are right. However, in life, we are very rarely black or white. There's usually a little bit of white in the black, a little bit of black in the white. There's a little bit of silver lining in the clouds. There's a part where it's not exactly one extreme. And I'm not saying there's not one example. It's the internet, so Lord knows there's 25 examples will come up on Reddit of where it can be. But what I'm saying is, in terms of loving someone, you have to ask yourself if you're looking for a reason for compassion or result.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're looking for compassion, you can find that. If you're looking for result, that's different. And then is the question, health or control? There's a lot of ways to start. It's like a lot of men, one thing that men have trouble with is women say, hey, my man doesn't lead well. Okay, do you follow well?
Right.
No disrespect. You want a man that will lead you. Okay, so if he says go left, do you go left? Do you go like, well, I'm not saying don't go left. Are we sure we should take that left-hand turn? I'm not saying that you shouldn't question, but there should be some parts of where you're going to let him take this route and figure out how it works. Maybe that's how he stops by your favorite ice cream store and he doesn't tell you about it. But you never get to.
Shout out to my mentor, man, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not here to tell anybody what to believe in, none of that, right?
Yeah.
But for what I believe in, the husband is supposed to cover the wife.
Right.
Right. And my mentor once said, he was speaking to a room he was doing an event, relationship, building better relationship seminar, whatever. And he said to the ladies, and this was a Christian-based show or whatever, but he said, how can we cover you if you move your head every time we try to put your hat on? And everybody was like, and his wife did an example. Him and they're amazing, by the way. But she did a joint. He was showing the physical. He was trying to put the hat on, and she was moving her head, and people were like, "Yo, But yeah, man.
And that's like. But here's the thing: some of that's communicating that. Some of us have a lot to learn about leadership, myself included, and finding the time to make the space to learn requires communication, just like you're saying. You know, how many times have you and April sat down and had the hard conversation about something over and over again, even when it wasn't easy and you were tired and you didn't want to, and you press pause. You know that fight you keep having over and over again, so you finally realize you need to really sit down and work on. Like I know you're worth it. I know I'm worth it. I'm not crazy. I know you're not crazy. Somewhere in here is reasonability.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure where it is, but I'm gonna find it. Let me work on this and work on finding it. Like, here's the thing. Whatever your relationship is, like Chris is saying, a safe place is hugely important. What I'm saying is that no matter what, you have no excuse not to be here tomorrow. And what I'm saying is that oftentimes it can be a slippery slope when we assign blame to other people. So a lot of us, we say, I have to have this. And then if I don't, that's why I failed, because I didn't have so-and-so. You know what I mean? I picked you. And it's not, hey fam, she picked an imperfect person that she also isn't performing as advertised as well. Because at one point, this dude thought she was absolutely the most amazing.
Yeah.
And now doesn't feel that way and doesn't beam at her every time he sees her. So there's a part of that math that we all have to kind of counter. And that, I think, starts with humility. But that ability to be humble starts with the security to be willing to work on yourself. Because if you can't work on you, you just pretty much keep justifying not fixing anything.
Yeah, you're running in circles, man. You got to break the cycle. You gotta.
Oh, speaking of which, shout out to Sean Cates, by the way. That dude, let me tell you something. He said something to me one time. I was talking to him. He goes, "Hey, Elliot. So here's the cool thing about your wife. Yeah, you picked her. You married her. That's it. So you got a point." He goes, "Okay, so you're gonna have." He said, "I've been married 25 years." So he said, "Every year's not a happy year. Every moment's not happy. You stay married. You fight for what you believe in. You stand your ground. You stay married."
With Goodfellas, I think it was Goodfellas. I got one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, you go back home.
We're not. You go back home.
Yeah, you go back home. You do what you do. You go back home. Does that make sense? You go back home. You have to go back home.
Elliot, it's always a privilege and honor, man.
Yes, man.
The hour goes by quick. To anybody that's watching this, Speak Dad Show. I'm just one of the facilitators. I'm fortunate enough to have this conversation every week. It's growing. Our first time we was on YouTube, we had like 50 views. The second time we had like 200-300. I said, okay, so we're gonna see what's going on tonight, man. I just want to say thank y'all to each and every one of you that's watching this, whether it's live.
Thank you for the encouragement, whether you guys realize it or not. In this subject matter of talking about it, dude, I'm in the middle of an ocean screaming and hollering. If you hear me, Wilson, like Castaway. It's awesome to get any support, more than you ever know. I appreciate it. And thank you for the support you have given. For real.
Yeah, man. I'm grateful. As my brother just said, man, I don't understand. I'm grateful. And when I was opening up, I was asking him how we met. And what I wanted to get to, and I alluded to, is I joined this SpeakDads platform, one, because I believed in it. I don't join or support anything that it'll fall flat with me every time. I'm not good at faking. But I didn't know I was going to be a dad. And I was like confused because he asked me to be a part of this platform that said SpeakDads. And I'm a recovery reentry guide. I'm like, what the heck going on? Mm-hmm. All I want to tell y'all, anybody that's watching this, and I'll keep saying this, listen, whatever you believe in, but I just tell you about me. You can sometimes think that you're going in here for one thing, and you will find out you're going in for a totally different reason. You understand me? And for anybody that ever sees me on this platform or any platform, I reflect what Elliot just said. You may think that I'm helping provide support, but if only you knew the support that you're providing me right now.
Absolutely.
When this screen goes off, going straight back in. Straight. I'm in it right now, but I'm straight back in. My thoughts are with all the fathers right now that are going through something, that they're watching their loved ones go through something. My thoughts are for all the fathers and mothers and any of the relationships, couples that are impacted by any struggle to bring life into this world, man. My thoughts, my support just all of that is for
100%.
anybody that's fighting through a tough season in their relationship or marriage, but they know that this is good for them and they're ready to go through the tough season. That's what this is about, man. So, yo, my brother opened it up. I'm closing it out, but this is Speak Dads. Please message us. You can find us on all social media platforms. You can look him up at Speak Dads, Elliot Raphael. You can look me up at Christopher Life Willers. You will find Speak Dads. We will direct you to the platform.
Absolutely.
And it's not just us. It's a multitude of different types of support.
There's a director of care there. There's all kind of guys.
Tell them really quick in like 30, 1 minute, whatever, like a snapshot of what they actually are able to participate, the type of support in Speak Dads more specifically as we bring
So here's how Speak Dads works. There's a guy that when you get on there, his name is that guy. He reaches out and says hello to you. He's the director of care. He's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I also offer the same offering to answer my phone. There's a safe place network that goes along with that. I have some people that we call, if no matter where you are, that we can actually have the conversation with and be able to be there to support you. Chris is one of those people on that network. Should it be a sobriety call as well? It's really about having a space that guys can go in. Imagine you went on social media and everybody there actually cared. It was just guys. Nobody was telling, and they were there to help because everybody's there for just that. Chris, go to speakdads.com. You'll check it out and see it. It's literally right there. It's literally, you sign up, you go in, and there's literally a safe place where guys communicate from all over the world. We're in 4 different countries right now. So we really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
And counting. And
we're going to work on that. We're coming.
Catch us
Guyana's
3
next.
months from now.
Yes,
Guyana's
yes,
next. I appreciate y'all, man. And at the end of the day, this is Speak Dads. This is real life. Thank y'all to each and every one of you that's supporting me and my family right now, man. Listen, I always close my streams, my conversations, definitely dealing with mental health, recovery. I want to thank my brother for asking me how my recovery journey is right now during tough moments. Anybody that's struggling, get help if you need help. If you don't come to Speak Dads, there's a multitude of different support groups, organizations, hotlines.
Yes.
Because 2,000 men a day, give or take.
Yes.
I continue. I never get tired. I don't ever want to keep saying that number, but I won't get tired of saying that number as long as it's true.
Oh, by the way, there's non-emergent mental health services in your county. If you have like an episode that's involving mental health,
yes,
you can actually ask them to get somebody that's a mental health representative there instead, and that can help out with a lot of trouble speaking at the state free mission.
And definitely peer support specialist. Shout out to my fellow certified peer specialists, forensic peers, where we're actually able to step in some really unique and important situations. So, I appreciate you, Elliot, man. We got some more topics. We got some more things next week. But for anybody that's watching,
send in anything.
Yeah, send in questions because that's what I'm doing. That's what I brought in the gist of the 18-year-old young man today, getting ready to get married. But we thank y'all, and until next time, man, we will see y'all. Stay safe, stay proactive, stay diligent, stay true.